scared UAE abandons longtime partners in the US and Israel, and goes begging to Iran for safety and political protection? As war restarts across the region, is the UAE now quietly seeking a behind-the-scenes deal with Mojtaba to shield itself from the fallout? Is the UAE taking advanced weapons from Israel, then secretly turning around to talk with Mojtaba in search of a better security guarantee? UAE is restoring economic and diplomatic channels with Iran after the ceasefire breaks, according to recent reports. At the same time, Abu Dhabi is rapidly expanding its defense integration with the US and Israel, creating a dual-track strategy of cooperation and deterrence. This development was reported by Clash Report on July 28, emerging amid fresh attacks on Arab targets attributed to Iran. Economic ties with Iran are thawing as maritime traffic resumes between UAE ports and key Iranian harbors, reopening long-standing trade routes. Direct commercial flights between the UAE and Iran have been reinstated following the pause in heavy fighting, signaling a cautious normalization. Abu Dhabi has cleared the return of about 20,000 UAE-based Iranians who were displaced by the recent hostilities and disruptions. The UAE National Security Advisor is among the senior officials leading the outreach to Iran on behalf of Abu Dhabi's leadership. Emirati leaders have entered direct talks with top Iranian negotiators in an effort to stabilize relations and prevent further escalation. Dubai's economy remains heavily dependent on Iranian trade and agricultural imports, making continued economic engagement strategically important. Emirati academic Abdulkhalek Abdullah has argued that turning down Iran's offer to talk would be foolish from Abu Dhabi's perspective. Despite this apparent détente, Abu Dhabi remains deeply suspicious of Iran's military capabilities and regional intentions, according to reports. UAE is hardening its defense posture and increasingly relying on Israeli and American systems to shield itself from regional threats. Israel has provided Iron Dome and Iron Beam laser defenses to help intercept incoming rockets, drones, and other projectiles aimed at Emirati territory. The Israeli embassy in Abu Dhabi has reportedly doubled in size, reflecting the rapid growth of security and intelligence cooperation between the two states. Their joint work now covers advanced technologies, artificial intelligence applications, and the security of critical port infrastructure across the Emirates. An Israeli official has stated that Israeli defense companies are active inside the UAE and maintain permanent bases to support ongoing projects. Washington has granted the UAE enhanced access to U.S. military hardware as well as top-tier artificial intelligence chips for defense and surveillance. The war's supply shocks have pushed the UAE to redesign its logistics networks to reduce dependence on the vulnerable Strait of Hormuz. Severe bottlenecks recently slashed capacity at Jebel Ali port, prompting Emirati planners to develop new trade and energy routes. State oil giant ADNOC is accelerating work on a pipeline project intended to double crude exports from Fujairah, which lies outside the Strait of Hormuz. Planners are also studying proposals to bury key oil pipelines and future data centers underground to make them more resilient to attack. Iran has directly accused several Gulf states of actively joining this war, even as its own army vows an even harsher retaliation against any future aggression. On July 27, Iran formally accused neighboring Gulf states of directly launching strikes on the nation, escalating tensions across the wider region. This claim was made by Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesman Esmail Baghaei during an official briefing held in Tehran. Baghaei stated that while the United States led these attacks, certain regional states also played a direct role in carrying them out. Baghaei said, and I quote, "Unfortunately, contrary to all norms of international law and the principle of good neighborliness, these countries made their territory available to parties attacking Iran. In some cases, we know that they independently participated in the military aggression against Iran." Unquote. Iran also made clear that Washington will not be the one to decide when this current war finally comes to an end.
We have never allowed, and we will never allow the United States to determine when there is war or peace. We will defend ourselves whenever our interests require it, whenever our circumstances require it, whenever we believe we can use diplomacy as a tool to safeguard our national interests. We will certainly use it as such. And during this period as well, in these 2 weeks, we witness a continuation of cooperation and participation of some countries of the region with America in committing war crimes and military aggression against Iran. We explicitly declared all of these cases. Mediators may convey messages from the American side to us regarding the current developments in the region, but at present we have no negotiations with the American side.
These remarks followed earlier reports claiming that certain Gulf states had already struck Iran directly at some point earlier this month. According to a Wall Street Journal report published on July 24th, both Bahrain and Kuwait secretly struck Iranian sites back in early July. These strikes specifically targeted drone and missile storage depots inside Iran, marking the very first direct retaliation these two nations had ever carried out against Tehran. The Wall Street Journal reported that both Kuwait and Bahrain relied on their relatively small air forces, equipped primarily with Western-made fighter jets, to carry out these operations. Interestingly, the report revealed that the UAE played a supporting role behind the scenes, providing both target intelligence and defensive air cover for the operation. It's worth remembering that the UAE had already carried out dozens of its own airstrikes against Iran earlier in this conflict, according to previous reports. Iran has largely avoided directly attacking the UAE in recent weeks, though it did strike 2 Emirati tankers at sea during the month of July. According to the Wall Street Journal, these coordinated attacks signaled a clear rise in Arab military cooperation aimed directly against Iran.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest newsmakers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Have you ever wondered what happens when a banking dynasty meets tides of world history, intrigue, and a dash of myth?
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.